Right, what we have right now is we have a border, half-inch border that runs around the page, right? We also have our 1-inch construction lines right here that start the drawing. Okay, the 1-inch construction lines start the drawing. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to draw a title box or a title block, right, which provides that important information about our drawing. To do that, what we're going to do is we're going to take our ruler again, and we're going to place our ruler on our right borderline. And I'm going to zoom in for you. I'm going to tighten the shot up so we can see exactly what's going on. And I'm going to measure, to the left 4 inches. So I'm going to measure to the left 4 inches now, and I'm going to put a dot. Now people ask me all the time, well, how far down the page should we go? Maybe about 1/3 of the way down the page. Right? These are just light construction lines, very, very light construction lines that we're going to draw. The next thing I'm going to do, I need to go towards the top borderline. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take 0 inches. I'm going to place 0 inches. I'm going to place 0 inches right on my right borderline. And I'm going to measure to the left. 4 inches and put a dot. Since I have 2 dots established, one here and one here, now I can draw a light construction line. So I'm going to do that very light. This is one of the few times that I will say this is not necessary. It's not necessary to draw this line across the page. So I'm going to draw a very, very light line up in this corner of the drawing. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to form the bottom of our title box. The bottom, we're going to, this line right here. And the measurement for that line is 1 1/4 inches down from the border. So we're going to measure from here down 1 1/4 inches. So we measure down 1 1/4 inches, over here down 1 1/4 inches, we put a dot, we draw a light line across. So we're going to do that now. So I'm going to center this, and we'll zoom in a little bit, we'll tighten up the shot. And I'll do that for you. We're going to go to our top borderline. I'm going to put 0 inches on our top borderline. Zero inches is on our top borderline. I'm going to measure down. I'm going to measure down 1 1/4 inches. I'm going to measure down from our top borderline 1 1/4 inches, and I'm going to put a dot. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide my ruler to the right. I'm going to slide my ruler to the right, and I'm going to measure down that 1 1/4 inches again. I'm going to measure down that one. There's the 1 1/4 inches again. I'm going to measure down 1 1/4 inches. And put a dot. Once I've done that, I'm going to draw a light line through the 2 points. And like I said, this is one of the rare times when we won't be drawing a line across the page. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw a very, very light line through these 2 points. This is a light construction line. There we go. Now, if you remember on the finished drawing that I showed you, on a finished drawing, right, there were these other lines in here, these other lines, okay? This vertical line here, this vertical line is 1 1/2 inches from this point here. It's 1 1/2 inches from here. So in order to draw this, we have to put 0 inches on the right border line. We're going to measure to the left 1 1/2 inches, put a dot. We're going to come down to the bottom of this rectangle that we formed for the title box. Right, we're going to put 0 inches again on the right borderline. We're going to measure to the left 1 1/2 inches, put another dot, and then we'll draw a light construction line. So that's what we're going to do next. I'm going to take my ruler. I'm going to put it up near the top right-hand corner of the drawing. And I'm going to measure to the right 1 1/2 inches. There's 1 1/2 inches. I'm going to measure to the right. Oh, here we go. I'm going to measure to the right 1 1/2 inches, 0 inches, 1 1/2. Here it is. I'm going to put a light dot. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide this down. Slide this down. Right, from my right border line again. Right, I'm going to measure to the left 1 1/2 inches. 1 1/2 inches. Right, and I'm going to put another little dot because we know we need 2 dots to draw a straight line, or 2 points to draw a straight line. And then what I'm going to do is draw a light construction line through those 2 points. Light construction line through those 2 points. There we go. The last thing we have to do now. Now remember, we're working in the upper right-hand corner of our drawing now. Okay? We're working in the upper right-hand corner of the drawing. All right, I'm going to zoom back in again, but this is the area we're working. So if you somehow are drawing something down here, you know that's not right. So I'm going to tighten up the shot again. And now if you remember on the other drawing, we had these horizontal lines. We had these horizontal lines. These are the lines right here. These horizontal lines are called lettering lines, right? And what we're going to be able to do is we're going to be able to write on these lines. We're going to be able to write neatly on these lines. Those lettering lines are 1/4 inch wide. 1/4 inch wide. All right, that's what we're dealing with, 1/4 inch. So in order to do these properly, what we're going to do is we're going to measure down 1/4 inch. Then we're going to measure down another 1/4, another 1/4, another 1/4, right, until we get down to this line that we put here. Now, since we know that we originally said that this measurement, the measurement from here to here, was 1.25 inches, we know that there are 5 1/4 inch lines that'll be drawn in this box. 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4, that's 1 inch, and then 1 more 1/4. So that we'll have 5 lines to letter or write information on. So the first thing we're going to do, we're taking our ruler, we're putting 0 inches. We're going to put 0 inches on the top border, right near our title box, and I'm going to measure down 1/4 inch, 1/4 of 4/16. Now, there's a couple of ways I could do this now. I can move 0 inches down to that point, and then count another, and then go down another 1/4 inch and put a dot. Or what I could do is just count 4/16 or go down 1/4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this back, the 0 inches back on the top border line. And I'm going to measure down, and I'm going to tighten up the shot a little bit more. Let's see if I can do it a little bit more so we can really see it. And I am going to, you're going to see exactly how I'm going to do this. I went down 1/4 inch, I put a dot. I went down another 1/4 inch, put a dot. Now let's say, gee, I forget, where's 1/4 inch now? Let's count 16ths then. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4/16, put a dot. Let's count down another 4/16. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. And if we count down another 4/16, 1, 2, 3, 4, sure enough, there we are, right there. Let's do the same procedure now, but let's do it on the right side of our title box. So I'm just going to slide my drawing over. Okay, you're going to slide your ruler over. I'm sliding my drawing over. All right, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put 0 inches on my top border line, and I'm going to measure down 1/4 inch or 4/16 and put a dot. So I'm going to measure down 1/4 inch, put a dot. See, it's 1, 2, 3, 4/16. I'm going to do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4/16. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4/16. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4/16. See? 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4. When we're all done, all right, it's 1 1/4 inch, and that's exactly what we want. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to draw a line between those points, but we're going to keep that line inside our title block or a title box. And I'm going to open my shot up a little bit here so we can all see this better. And I'm going to draw the lines inside my and I'm going to draw the lines inside my title box. Now my experience has been that this is one of the most difficult parts of the drawing setup for many students. And it requires a little practice. It requires some pretty good hand and eye coordination in order to do this, in order to line it up properly and to get all the lines nice and straight. Because if one is a little off, it's kind of exaggerated at this spot here. So here we go, there they are, they're all in there. Okay, I'm going to open up the shot. We'll take a look at where we are. And I'm going to keep my, I'm going to okay. And you can see now, we basically have our drawing set up. We have our 1/2 inch border in. We have our 1 inch construction lines. We have our title box, which measures 4 inches by 1 1/4 inch with a 1 1/2 inch line here, okay, with 1/4 inch lettering lines in there. Now, we've drawn these lines nice and light. Those light lines are called construction lines. If we're confident with what we see here, what we're going to do is we're going to darken those lines in. And when we darken those lines in, those lines have a special name, right? And we refer to those lines as an object line, Now, many times what we'll do is we'll refer to these as title box lines or border lines, right? But when we refer to object lines, we refer to a line that's dark and that stands out. And so in this particular case, we want our title box lines and we want our border lines to be dark, to stand out, and maybe just be a little wider than some of the other lines that we're going to draw. Our construction line right here is going to stay light. So this we're not going to touch. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our ruler and we're going to take our pencil and we're going to go in and we're going to darken these lines. And when we darken these lines up, we're going to take these corners, all right? And right now these corners are crossing like that. And we're going to take those yucky corners and we're going to make perfect corners like this, right? So now we're going to draw, instead of having corners that cross, we're going to draw perfect corners like that. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to take my ruler, and I'm going to be very, very careful. And I'm going to go directly over what I've worked on before. And I'm going to go draw a dark line from corner to corner now. And we'll see whether that line stands out or not, as a dark frame around my drawing. And I can see that already. I can see the difference between this and that original line that I drew. And I'm going to do that along the top of my drawing now. And I'm going to do it along the right side of my drawing. And I'm going to do it along the bottom of my drawing. Like I said, normally a borderline, it's a dark line, like an object line, and we'll be talking about what object lines are a little bit later on. And it normally tends to be a little wider line. It kind of really stands out, really frames the drawing. So you can see now, you can see an obvious difference between these light lines I drew in the title box area and these darker border lines now. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to darken in the lines in the title box. That's the next thing we're going to do. And again, I'm going to take this corner right here, we'll call it a yucky corner, and we're going to make it a perfect corner like we did over here. Now, very soon, right, if you haven't started already, right, Mr. Ford, why do we have to do this? Why are we going through this whole thing? Right, and like I've done in the past, what I'll do is I'll show you and give you plenty of examples of when these particular skills are used and when a drawing like this is used. There are many different professions, right, that require this type of drawing, the preparation of this type of drawing. All right, now, our drawing is completely set up. There it is right there. Okay? We have our half-inch border lines, our 1-inch construction line, and we have our title block, which is 4 inches wide, right? It comes down 1 1/4 inches from here to here, 1 1/4. We know that this line right here, right, is 1.5 inches from the border, and then we know these individual lines here are 1/4 inch. And there is one other thing we have to do. And the last thing we have to do is we need to darken in those lettering lines. That's very important. All these lines, they should be dark lines. So I'm going to darken them in now. And that will complete the setup of our drawing. All drawings will be set up exactly the same way. We have a total of 5 drawings. Actually, we're going to do 1 reference drawing, and then we're going to do 5 drawings. We have a drawing 1, a drawing 2, a drawing 3. Drawing 4 and 5 are a little bit more interesting. Drawing 4 is something called an oblique drawing, where we look at the front view of an object, and the rest of it projects it back at 45 degrees. And we have another one called an isometric drawing, where we're looking at something from the corner and it projects to the left and right at 30 degrees, but we're a ways from doing that. So here's our final setup of our drawing right here. There we go. That's what your drawing should look like. Every drawing, before we get started, this is what has to be done.